exposure. I think that you should be able to age into working from home, but I think you should have some exposure with going into an office place and dealing with people, meeting people, encountering different personalities, different opinions and things. But you've got a younger generation that is working from home, and you've got an older generation because of specialized skills that's doing a longer commute, which is really odd to me.
It's strange. The other thing is people have lost certain social skills. They're so used to hitting the email or hit send that they don't pick the phone up and say, "Hey, Mark, what are you talking about?" Or they don't go there, and it's actually a shame.
I had my insurance agent do that to me yesterday. He picked up the phone and he said, "Okay, we're past the 3 email limit. We got to talk." And I said, "Agreed." Because email wasn't supposed to be the whole conversation.
Right.
It was supposed to be an adjunct to it, and texting even more so. Texting was supposed to be get milk. Okay. I know people that have had 8 and 10-year long texting conversations with people.
Yeah, I think you pick the phone up and talk to them at that point.
I think you guys are kind of missing one of the variables here. The younger generation grew up not having to talk to people. And so when you get into a conversation of
text it to us.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to gather my thoughts here because, it's kind of difficult to explain to somebody who's not used to it. But, for somebody like me who has a short memory, I'm not going to remember everything somebody said. Like if you came to my door and said, "Hi, I did these, and these things," that's going in one ear and out the other. It's a tunnel for me. But if you were to text it or email it to me, then I have a paper trail. I can be like, "Oh, who was that showed up at my door? Oh, she gave me her card. Oh, she was Kate Harper. Do I have an email from her?" And I'll search it in my inbox. Oh, she's running. Okay.
Right. No, I think that's right. And I think when you run for office these days, you need that strategy.
It also leaves a paper trail. For someone like me who has...
But it's not making your generation any better at following up on anything because you still have to be chased down.
Right. And once again...
emails can get swallowed by the inbox.
And it also gets back to we're not hearing the other guy.
Right.
We're not seeing his perspective. And what you see depends on where you're sitting. And because you went and looked for Kate Harper because you heard the name or she showed up or she sent you an email. Yeah. Well, maybe you should look up the other person.
Well, yeah.
But you don't know who they are.
Well, when you see, okay, I got something from Kate Harper. She stands for these. Well, who's she running against? Is she unopposed? Is she running against somebody else who's, equally as qualified? Or is she running against somebody who's, vastly terrible? These are and then you go to the Google and you say, who's Kate Harper running against? And maybe it'll show up because, Google. But,
and maybe most people won't even go to that much trouble.
Right.
And they don't care that much about politics, to look. And is that okay? Well, it's probably normal. But I mean, what does that do to our democracy? If we end up electing people because we were sending a message to President Trump, then we don't get the left turn arrow. Okay. We don't get it.
Well, I don't think I don't understand where the reasoning would come from where, let's say I don't like President Trump. Voting out the current representative is not going to teach him a lesson.
No, I absolutely understand where it's coming from. It's wrong. I understand it, but it's wrong.
But spanking someone else's butt out of office doesn't teach Trump anything.
They're showing him via his party. They're trying to show his party that his actions are making the party vulnerable. That's what they're trying to do.
And once again, it's about labeling. You're either a Republican or a Democrat. You're either with us or you're against us.
Right.
It's a we and they situation. And when you're not open to the other party, you enter in this echo tunnel and it's just not good. And the current climate of politics it's very night and day. You're either on one side or you're on the other.
You're either with me or you're against me.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Exactly right. And that's why I'm saying that this year with local elections, if we elect people to send a message to President Trump or whatever, at the local level, we're really making a big mistake. Our representative democracy depends on putting good people at each level who are the right people for the right jobs.
Yeah, best person.
And so I could even see it in my election, I'll be honest with you, because most people don't distinguish between the federal Congress and the local General Assembly. And there were Congress people running on the ballot. I could see, I don't know, but I like Democrats. Okay. But this year, you don't have that excuse. So if people come out and just vote that way, they're probably going to make a mistake.
Right.
They need to be educated. They need to just not follow purely party lines. They need to research the candidates. To take, put the amount of effort into researching the politicians that will be helping guide your life, especially your home life, your taxes, your safety, and everything else. Your school boards.
You pick this place to move into that new home because it's in a good school district.
Make sure it stays a good school district.
Right.
And put the effort into that you would put into shopping for a new cell phone. How about we start there?
Well, that takes forever.
Yeah. Well, maybe less effort because that does take a while. It takes a while. Even if they were to put in that much effort, it would be significant. The problem is you can't make excuses. Like the memory thing is an excuse. I meet so many people your age that say, well, I don't have a good memory. Then fix it. Buy a pad of paper. Buy a pen.
I think that may also have something to do with a vast amount of screen time because if other people, I thought I was just, cursed with bad memory. But now that you're saying other young people, I think there's a correlation there.
Yeah, the
between
attention
the screen
span shrinking.
Well, and you have this bucket in the cloud of information you can go back to. If the internet goes down, I think everybody under 40 will wander the streets, starve to death because they won't know how to reach anybody to help them because they don't have a phone number memorized. It'll, until they'll be calling lawyers that are on the side of buses that go by or something for help because they won't have any numbers. I mean, when's the last time you memorized a phone number?
Well, I grew up having to know like my mom's work number and stuff.
Okay.
So.
But now you got her number in your phone.
Yeah, but I still know her number because every time. So before all the smartphones were connected and everything, my phones. They were flip phones, and instead of being able to just log into your Google account, you had to add your contacts.
Right.
One at a time. I only added the important ones. So it would be my mom, my dad, my stepdad, various siblings, maybe some aunts and uncles in there, but it was based on, if my old phone didn't break, then I could look at that. But it was largely based on memory and, hey, Mom, what's Grandmom's number?
Right. But people don't, you probably haven't remembered a number in 5 years.
All right. So let's talk about something else.
Someone like my 12-year-old, my 13-year-old brother, I think he doesn't have to memorize anyone's number except for maybe mom and dad's number.
I will tell you a funny thing.
Or their work number.
Your brother was born like with a phone in his hand, probably,
Essentially.
Right. So I'm in a store getting lunch a week ago. The cash register went down.
Oh, God.
So the woman calls her boss on the cell phone and says, the cash register's down. What are we going to do? The guy in front of me says, I got to get gas. I'll come back and pay. I promise. So he left to get gas. I said to her, look, how much does this cost? She looked on the menu. She found out. But, what about tax? I said, don't worry. I can do the tax. I can do it on my phone or in my head, whatever you prefer. But I did it on the phone because I thought she would trust the phone more than she would trust me.
Right.
And we took care of it. But she was at a complete loss because she had never operated a cash register that required arithmetic.
Oh, it
was funny.
It's like
it's a sad kind of funny, is what it is, because you meet people that
sad kind of funny. I think that's called pathetic.
Well, you see, if you ever go to the Wawa, they don't even have the cashiers give change anymore. It's just, here's your cash dollars because they have ones and fives and easy counting bits on them. And then the machine gives you your coins.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. The
coins aren't worth much, though.
I just coins add up.
They do if you have a lot of them.
So let's talk about something else. We only have a few minutes left, I think.
Wait as long as you want.
All right. Well, we'll stop it in a few minutes. When we get to the hour, that'd be good. But I want to talk about something else, too.
Okay.
I always encourage people, especially children, but all people, get outside.
Yeah.
Outside is a bad place.
Because what I've discovered is you don't save Penland Woods unless you know it and love it. You know, you don't outside. Save places unless you know them and love them. So if the kids don't get outside, okay, now I really sound old. But I grew up in Roxborough. Our backyard went into Fairmount Park. Mm-hmm. And that's where I played all the time. So I care about parks and the environment and all that jazz because I know it and love it. So we got to get people outside too. And
but isn't that where the internet is weak outside? You know?
Yeah. Well, they're putting cell towers everywhere. Well, you'll be all right.
Well, it's funny though.
There's Wi-Fi everywhere.
I see people
or even DAS.
You know, and it's a mix because I see people outside. But on their phone, and it's like you're halfway there. You're close.
Go play outside. Oh, okay.
Well, and it's everybody's window on the world is this screen now. I see people sitting with their kids and just looking at the screen.
Well, I still think there's no substitute for playing outside.
No, there's
without the screen.
And I said on a show here, and the pediatrician who was so nice, and I've known her for years, she said, "Oh my God, that's just horrible advice. Nobody do that." I said, "Go outside, stare at the sun, eat some dirt," you know? Yeah. But we're so far the other way and we're so isolated. That's why we have more allergies. That's why we have less resistance to things because we're not exposed to anything. And we just don't know what's going on around us. And we become outraged when we see things happen we see grand things that we see, a cathedral burn and the world gets upset, but then we see natural resources being destroyed that we can't recreate. And we become numb to it or we ignore it, you know. We ignore or become we kind of avoid the really bad things like homelessness and stuff like that because they're embarrassing and they're we just don't react the same.
It's too easy not to see them.
Well, and things like the cathedral burning, it's easy to get money for that because people like tragedy that's glamorous.
And beauty.
And beauty.
They like beauty.
They love beauty. They love beauty.
And there's no doubt that Notre Dame is beautiful.
Absolutely. And people love that. But
right.
And it will be again. It'll be more beautiful.
I think it's part of our history. Yeah. Well, now that we've solved the problems of the world, the three of us, thank you for having me on, Mark.
No, it was
a pleasure.
It was good to hear your voice in your post-political career because it's still a value.
Right.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Hit the button, Russell.